I've shot this video a couple of times now. First thing, I just want to get off my chest. I am looking at a different color for the living room. It's not going to be this color. That one worked in another room. It's horrible in this room. But I don't have a green horn sticking out of the side of my head. Alright, now I've got that out of my chest. I've been doing these, I've done 2 pen reviews that I've published so far. I'm going to be publishing more. In fact, I filmed one today. But I also did a sermon today because I fill in for the pastor when he's gone. And I talked about materialism and consumerism. Now, I'm not going to give you a whole big sermon because this isn't a religious channel. But it did worry me that as somebody who's now trying to do pen reviews, I might become part of that whole consumerism, materialistic culture, and I don't want to do that. Well, why don't I just get into this? I always write an outline or else I get to rambling. So first of all, materialism, consumerism is when your focus becomes things and the acquisition of things. As an example, in the sermon, I actually held up this pen. Now, it's a pretty pen. It's a Noodler's acrylic. I forget the name of the color, but it doesn't really matter. But the point is my whole goal the acquisition of this, and it's so tempting. People like me or Stephen Brown doing reviews, getting excited about pens, and you watch them and you say, oh, I want that too. And our whole advertising culture is the same way. You know, advertisements make us think, oh, I'm not good enough. I do want that. You know, advertisements probably made me think that this icky brown isn't good enough. But anyway, the trouble with consumerism is it's never enough. I got this pen a couple of months ago. I was very excited about it. I loved it. I touched it. I rolled it over and over. I filled it. I wrote with it. It was great. The novelty wore off. Now, I like it. It's still a pretty pen, but I don't have that romance anymore. And it's really easy to go onto that Goulet Pens or whoever you go to and say, ooh, there's another pretty one. I remember that good feeling I had when I bought the last one. I want that feeling again. That's easy. And in fact, there's a couple on their website that I wouldn't mind having. But you have to stop yourself. You know, is this pen just something pretty to get that high to buy and then I'm going to go acquire some more? What is the reason for buying pens? Okay, now, the reason I've done these reviews so far is because I want to share the experience of the pen for those who are interested in buying the pen. I'm not trying to push people to buy pens that they don't need or want. I want you to be thinking about the pen, and you look at my review as just a final hint as, yeah, I guess I do want that pen. And especially the level of pens I'm reviewing is going to be the low end. So I'm sharing my experience. Now, here in the United States, we have been given much. This is a wealthy nation. And when you're given much, much is expected of you. We have, well, I'm living in a 672 square foot house. Now, a lot of people would look at that and say, ooh, that's a small house. But there's even more people who will look at that and say, gosh, it'd be nice to have a roof over my head, and maybe some indoor heating, indoor plumbing, and all that space for myself. There's a lot of people in the world who live that way. They're looking more at survival. So when you're given a lot, you have to contribute more. When you're not given as much, your focus might be more on just day-to-day surviving. So what I would invite anybody watching this to do is to share. Now, not just share money, that's easy enough to do, but share other things. Make the world better. Share your talents. So that brings me back to this pen. What I mentioned in the sermon is, yeah, I could buy this, get all excited about buying it, the novelty wears off, done. What if I use this pen to create something? What if I write a novel? What if I write a sermon? I mean, William Shakespeare yanked the feathers off of some poor bird and wrote all those plays. They're still touching people hundreds of years later. He didn't use a fountain pen, if you didn't know that. He used quills, and they're from birds. Could draw something. I could write a letter to somebody and touch somebody with this. So if my only goal is to just buy something, that's easy. Anybody can buy. All you need is money. And if you want money, go work. That's no problem. So my challenge to all of you, anybody who's looking at fountain pens or any other kind of pen or any materialistic object, think about what you're going to use it for. Maybe you're going to make the world a more beautiful place. Maybe you're going to write something to change lives. You know, and honestly, making things beautiful is service. The fact that this pen is beautiful makes me want to write and create with it. So beauty has function. So don't think just creating beauty is worthless. It's not. Beauty is part of what makes us human and special. So when you go out to buy something, and I'm focusing on fountain pens, but I could focus on anything. First thing, why do you want it? Is it just a, ooh, pretty? Well, if that's the case, do you really need to spend the money? Maybe just don't. Maybe you can do something else with that money. Maybe you can let the money sit. Find a bigger thing later on. Now, we are a wealthy nation in the United States, so we have room for luxuries in our lives, and the Bible doesn't call us to give away everything. It doesn't say that money's evil. It doesn't say possessions are evil. It's the love of money and the love of possessions that are a problem. And I have the Bible references in my sermon outline here, but like I said, this isn't a religious channel. Now, another thing to think about is, can you afford it? Do not whip out your credit card to buy a pen on credit. Pay cash. Now, I know, because I do it, it's kind of hard to shop with cash online. But if so make sure the cash is there in the bank to cover it. Do not pay for a pen with money you don't have. If that means doing without that pen, you know what? It's going to feel better when you finally can pay for it and say, this is mine. So, can you afford it? Now, another big trick that I use is to think. I often will put things into a shopping cart, electronic shopping cart, and I'll let them sit there for a month, 2 months, and I'll think. And that shopping cart will change over and over. And a lot of the stuff that I put in there gets taken out because you have that instant reaction. Ooh, pretty, I want it. Especially if you have the cash to buy it and you've passed those first couple of questions. It's so tempting just to go in there, just to buy it. But do you really want it? What are you going to do with it? You know, after a month or two, often that passion is gone. Now, if it's still there, I'd say it might be something that'll enrich your life. This pen, when it first came out from Noodlers, I thought it was really pretty. And I thought about it, and then they ran out. And I thought, well, okay, that's too bad. I shouldn't have thought about it so long. But then I thought, well, it's just a pen, because it is just a pen. But it came back on, and I'd thought about it long enough to know, yeah, it's pretty, and I think I'll enjoy using it. And I do. This one has been inked up since I got it. So think. And another thing to think about, is it truly going to enrich your life? And not only your life, will you use it to enrich the lives of others? You know, am I just buying this because it's pretty and it makes me happy, or can I use this to share something, some talent in me with others? Maybe I write a letter to a lonely person. I write a novel, I write a poem, I don't care. But, you know, use your pens to do something. You know, even personal development can be a useful thing. When you know yourself, it's a lot easier to know others. And then, of course, when you buy something, I always like to think, what can I get rid of? I'd show you the pen that got displaced by this one, but you know what? I gave it away. It was a Noodler's pen. It was one of the resin ones. I didn't like it as well as I liked this one. So always, I'm going to say, cull your collection. You can Wow, my whole computer screen just went blank there, and that was weird. So sorry about that. But always look at what can you get rid of when you buy something. Now, I like that one in, one out rule. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule because sometimes new things come in that just make sense. Like I've gotten more into cooking for myself, and a few more utensils have definitely come in handy. But get rid of things. And the last thought I'm just going to leave you with is it's really easy to consume, and it's rewarding. All you have to do is go out and buy. But it's a lot harder to create. But every one of us, including me, has gifts that we can share, talents that'll make, whether you're religious or not, you have some talents that will make the world better for other people, and I want you to share them. And if this is the tool that helps you share them, please do. If you're a musician, share that. If you're an artist, share that. Create and do. Don't just consume. In fact, consumption should be low on your priority levels. The real priority level should be, what can you do? What can you make? You have gifts, and use them. So I want to thank you for listening. I can't believe that just went on for 11 minutes and 30 seconds because I wanted to do this in 5 minutes. But I just thought I should get this out there right away at the beginning. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you later.